need to find... Did I... Okay, actually, no. I'll toss all this stuff out over there. Not yet, because I still need to heal my tools. Okay, my voice is still kind of screwy, by the way. So I do apologize for that. I am going to turn off block sounds and hostile mobs, because I forgot this one is loud. But yeah. Still going back to working on the witch farm. Kind of got sick and tired of the redstone. I couldn't figure it out. I genuinely couldn't. I might have to just change up how I do it. But for now, that's a feature me problem. I try to figure it out in the testing world. Just couldn't get my head around it. And I don't know, because I want it to all fit in that one chunk. But at the same time, I'm starting to think that's maybe not the best idea. And I can probably make an industrial district somewhere, probably where I'm taking out all that sand. And then just have, like... a long version of a super smelter, which those are classic, those are going to work, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But yeah, that's something that I need to figure out. So for the time being, we're going to stick with that little tiny thing that we have and smelting charcoal. Oh, it's over here. I struggle with reading comprehension. I'm just kidding. No, I don't struggle with reading comprehension, but I do struggle with reading, period. But yeah, just bad at reading. Anyway, what has been going on recently? Not much, actually. Like, in terms of what's been going on with, you know, school and everything, not much has been happening. I literally have nothing to report on that. It's been the same steady crap that it's been since day one. A lot of homework, which I should be doing. I have a whole bunch of assignments due by Friday. And then I'm going to have more that are due by Sunday. Then I'm going to have more that are due by Monday. Which... these professors, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to just go ahead and not care that you have stuff outside of our classes. So we're going to just force you to do all this work. And I'm complaining. I'm unemployed. And it's funny because there's students in my class, they're employed. They have jobs. They are 100% like they're doing work. They have jobs. They have other things going on, and I am pretending to be a personality on the internet. Which, yeah, that's neat, but it's not an actual job. So I don't know why I'm complaining. I'm complaining because I'm fucking lazy. Hang on, I need to update the stream title. Okay, hopefully that doesn't screw with anything. Freaking Grammarly. Anyway, yeah, it's just a lot of homework that I have to do, so I'm not gonna stream for too long. No, I'm gonna try and stream for about 2 hours. And on top of that, D&D has been happening in the background. So we had our session 0 a couple of weeks ago, and then we also had our session 1, like our official start. And both of those were chaotic. Session 0 was, just getting acquainted to the other players and all that. It's a good group of people. I'm gonna be honest; they're really nice people. We have a Goliath variant. Goliath, I forgot what class he is. I know he's wanting to multi-class into Bard because there's always the one. There's myself, the Dragonborn Cleric. There's a variant human who I forgot what she's playing also, at least her class. And then there is I think he's a sorcerer. He's a halfling sorcerer that is just obsessed with janitorial work. The campaign that we're playing is was it Strixhaven? It's a pre-written module, so yeah, and it's very beginner friendly, which I'm really enjoying. Because there's just like, I'm new at this. Did he drop a flint and steel? Anyway, I'm new at this. I don't know what the hell's going on half the time, so it's nice to actually see they're actually being really accommodating to me being an absolute buffoon. But yeah, they're really nice people. And another thing that I like the first thing that we did, it was a scavenger hunt. We had to look for trophies. It's weird. I don't know how to actually put it into words, like how sessions are going. Especially seeing session 1 was 3 weeks ago. Oh no, Twitch is buffering. Never mind. Okay, it's working again. But yeah, session 0 was 3 weeks ago, and we attempted there's this one fountain. One of the parts of the treasure hunt or the scavenger hunt was to find the fountain in the middle of the campus, right? Because Strixhaven is basically like magical college, which yeah, and that fountain was a big part of it, and apparently the campus was built up around it. I'm not 100% familiar with the lore. I'll it's being revealed as we go. I can always look it up on WorldForge, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't want spoilers. Anyway, that happens, and then there's this weird orb that's say about 500 feet above the fountain. And the way that the clue was written, you had to be ensnarled in the light. That orb was called the snarl. So we were thinking, oh, we have to get into the orb. So me and then our variant human, I forgot what she's playing again. I feel real bad for that. I am an idiot. We look over at the halfling. We look over at each other. We glance at our DM. And we're like, oh, halfling space program. So we're like, hey, who has the higher strength stat so we can get the halfling and chuck him into the snarl? And we're like, and the halfling was like, yes, halfling space program, right? The DM says no. And we're like, oh, come on, man. And it's like, it would have been funny. Then we realized, oh, wait, no, our halfling would have died because he has 4 hit points. So yeah, we didn't want to kill our. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if we killed our halfling. If he died, I wouldn't have been mad because it would have been hilarious. But yeah, I can see why we weren't allowed to do that because it would have been a stupid set of circumstances of like, oh wait, we just killed one of our players because halfling space program sounded really funny in our heads. So my inventory is a freaking mess. Anyway, we do that. That's session 0. Session 0 ends with a mimic fight. Apparently, one of the bookcases in like the main library where orientation was happening came to life because it was a mimic, and we dealt with that. I would say decently easy. The sorcerer almost died twice. Or no, he almost died once. I'm thinking of session 1. Anyway, he almost dies once, and we're able to kill it eventually. And then there's like a real meta joke in there where there's like also a club that does LARPing, which is just it's too fucking meta. We're playing a role playing game, and there's a role playing game happening within the role playing game, which I'm pretty sure has a role playing game inside the role playing game. There's too many levels to this. I do not want to look into it. I am afraid of onions. Anyway, there's session 2 happens where we're joining clubs, live action. No, going back to session 0. There's like an going back to like that it's large live action role playing guild group. It's fantasy, so it's probably guild. Anyway, there's like an ink spot on the chest that our sorcerer cleans up, and we're all kind of confused about like where the fuck did that come from. Anyway, session 0 that wraps up session 0. Session 2 or session 1 is more like campus acclimation, definitely like seeing where we were assigned our classes, which is what. Anyway, it's roleplay prompts really. We get our classes. We then have a chance to go out, and they have like this like community club fair where you can also get like student jobs and whatnot. So it's literally just college. So we go out, we get our student jobs. And of course our halfling janitor becomes a janitor. That's his student job, and I think he's also like a silk dancer, which apparently that's a club at that school. Anyway, that happens. We leave, or we finish that up. Our Goliath character is invited to one of the on-campus pubs to, you know, it was like a whole thing, just again to keep the story going forward. I like that, and it was to, like, you know, go out for drinks and bring some friends and, you know, just interact with the NPCs. And that same NPC found some frogs, and they were, they were basically playing craps in the corner, and with the frogs they were setting up races, betting gold on them and whatnot. And those frogs are going to be important. The race ends, one of our frogs wins, and I, being the idiot of the group, pseudo idiot, my wisdom stats 16, yet I play like an absolute buffoon because I'm new to this. I go to inspect the frogs and try to lick them because, I mean, the DM described them as suspicious frogs. I'm thinking suspicious as in, oh, they want to get high. So I try to lick the frog. The frog apparently isn't illicit. So there's no chance to get high, but there is a chance to roll for initiative. And those frogs were a bit much, to say the least. In that, oh, she's playing a paladin. That's what she's playing. The variant human paladin. I don't know how I forgot that. It's like almost hand in hand with a cleric. Oh, Slimehead. I am knockoff Ijabbin. Anyway. Dollar store version. Again, name dropping these hermits is going to get me in trouble. Anyway. Yeah, she's playing a paladin. We roll for initiative, and we're thinking, oh, they're big frogs, but they're also frogs. And there's 4 of them, meaning it's kind of like one for each of us to take on. So we're we're in the boat of like, oh, well, they're just frogs. And so is the DM. So we're thinking, oh, it's frogs. We're not going to have that hard a time. It's going to be quick and dirty thing. Doesn't matter, right? We were very sorely mistaken. All of us. In that the frogs were kicking our ass. So we have our Goliath get almost, or our Goliath gets hit, he gets grappled, and then our Halfling gets hit, also gets grappled. And the frog that's fighting me, because there's 4 frogs, 4 of us, so it makes sense. completely botches whatever the hell he's trying to do, and just can't seem to get his shit together. And neither can I in the frog's defense. It's like, we're just there swinging at each other. We're not really doing anything. We're just kind of like existing in the same vicinity. So that we're just, you know, shadow boxing essentially. And our paladin is not doing the greatest. Just to put it lightly. She goes down within like our 4th round of combat. Granted, we are all level 1. So she goes down, and we're like, okay, cool. It's fine. We're fine. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. We're not gonna lose anyone else. Halfling almost goes down. After I attempt to raise his AC by casting Divine Shield on him, or Shield of Faith, that's what it was, Shield of Faith. I cast Shield of Faith on him, he almost goes down, he gets swallowed by the frog. So his increased AC is now essentially useless because he's inside the frog, meaning that the frog's stomach acid can just hit him regardless, and Shield of Faith is really only for physical attacks. Our Goliath is doing pretty well, holding up on his own because he's a freaking giant. I'm still shadowboxing the frog. Our paladin is down, then also gets swallowed by the frog, and fails a death save. So we are currently down 1 of 3 death saves that they can possibly have. And our halfling somehow manages to get out of the frog, which, awesome, cool, that's neat. Very, very nice of him to do that. Very considerate. And then our Goliath is able to take down his frog, whereas I am still struggling to hit mine. And again, it's also struggling to hit me, so we're just kind of in deadlock where we're just kind of like, we're just kind of staring at each other like, you know, Mexican standoff style. We're like like, I can definitely hit it, and it can definitely hit me, but we're just kind of not. And I'm playing a spellcasting class, and I forgot that, you know, spells exist after casting, or offensive spells exist. And our paladin fails, or succeeds this saving throw. Next round of combat, the halfling is able to, halfling along with the Goliath is able to kill the other frog. I'm still struggling to hit mine. And our paladin fails a death saving throw. Now, I kind of don't want to move because then that would evoke an attack of opportunity because we're within 5 feet of each other. So our Goliath decides then to try and help out our paladin by getting the frog to cough her up. That evokes an attack of opportunity, and she fails her last death saving throw. So she's dead. And what winds up happening is that, yeah, she's dead. I finally like realized, oh wait, I have what is it? What spells do I have? I forgot what I have written down. Guiding bolt. Or guiding bolt. Which is, you know, perfect. And we also play with something called exploding dice, which if you roll the max number on any dice, you roll again to see how basically you're playing Yahtzee with dice at that point. If you roll, like, it's a d6, you roll a 6, you roll again and you add that onto your damage count. So it's really good, especially for some of the squishier classes that have some high attack or high damage spells. So they're not entirely useless. Anyway, I realize that. I hit it. I get 1/6 out of the 4d4 that I have to roll. So I roll one of them again. I get a 5. And the frog that I'm fighting is left with like half a point of health. And it's like, alright, we've been trying to fight this entire time. And now we finally hit each other. And Goliath finishes him off in his turn. And we're ready to mourn our paladin, and DM, being nice, amazing DM by the way, decides to allow us a Deus Ex Machina, or allow our paladin a Deus Ex. And revive her. Her choice, obviously. And she gets revived, and immediately after, it's exam time. Which is, again, dice rolls and all that. It was, as such, a roll to study, which, if we rolled well enough on our roll to study, we would get advantage on our roll for the exam. Which, those rolls then, in turn, gave us, like, not inspiration dies, or not inspiration rolls, but, like, if we were doing some kind of check and it involved a skill that we were particularly good at, or were studying for in the school, or were in a club for, we could add a d4 per every long rest, or 1 d4 to that roll to, you know, help boost it if we think we're gonna struggle with that roll or that prompt or whatever. And like I normally do, I don't study. Like, I'm just like in real life, I didn't study. The other characters did, and came time for the exam, which was just a d20. You roll higher than a 15, I think you passed easily, and you get the inspiration dice. I rolled a 20. So not studying paid off. Plus, I got extra gold because I said I would just be slaving away at my job for an extra day. So yeah, that was fun. And we have another session coming up tonight, and maybe this time I'll actually, like, you know, at least record the audio or take better notes, because yeah, this is based off of memory, and my memory is god awful. So who knows? Maybe we didn't even play D&D, and I just kind of showed up at someone's house and just ate their food and drank their water. Uh, no, there was actual D&D being played. Fuck off, slimes! God damn it! Ow! Who hit me? Anyway, but yeah, that's that's what's been happening so far. And honestly, so far, these sessions have been pretty good. They've been pretty entertaining. And again, this is all huge props to our DM. But yeah, back to digging, back to more mundanity. Yeah. Also, my friend Sky really helped me with the character. I mean, y'all remember Sky? He plays Bed Wars with me sometimes. Like he helped me. Like technically, my DM isn't the. He isn't the. He's good. He doesn't really like pre-rolled characters because they can be like super skewed and super min-maxed, and you know, you can really fudge the rolls on those kinds of characters. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. But he did let me keep the rolls because they were legit. I did show proof that I did roll them. And he also gave me an opportunity to like, hey, you know what, you can roll again. If your rolls are worse than what you got, then you can always just like keep them, the rolls that you initially got, which wound up happening because I rolled like absolute dog shit during session 0. Which, let's be honest, I think that's going to be a running theme for the rest of these sessions, is that I'm going to be rolling like absolute trash. Which, yeah, that's kind. I think that's kind of normal for D&D. Is like you roll like by yourself, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, cool. Your rolls are gonna be the freaking best. And as soon as you actually get to rolling in person, your dice like suddenly decide, oh, we actually have to, you know, show out. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna, you know, ruin your session because we don't like you today. Or at least it feels that way sometimes. I have a slime farm. I don't need these. I don't know, I think next week I'm gonna ask Sky if he's gonna be free on Saturday. Then we can do Bed Wars again just like old times. Because honestly, after solo streaming for a while, it's getting mundane. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good. I like streaming. It's just that, like, I am not one of those people who can just ramble on for hours by myself. I need to have someone there to, like, you know, bounce off of and talk with, because I will just... I'll find a natural stopping point for a talking point, and then it's just going to be like 20 minutes of uninterrupted, awkward silence of just like, well, I'm thinking of what else to talk about, and I've got nothing. And then when I finally do, like, I'll exhaust that point in maybe 15 minutes without actually, you know, being able to converse. So there's... I don't know, I need to find a balance for this stuff, because it's... don't fall, because then I will rage quit. And I don't want to rage quit this week. Yeah. Also, I didn't upload last week's VOD because, or the week before, because that stream was such a nothing burger. It was like less than an hour. I didn't really do anything. And it was just, okay, cool, whatever. And then nothing happened. And I get that with these, there's also nothing happening, but at least I can be like, yeah, a little bit more chatty, a little bit more like, oh, there's a little bit more than nothing happening. Because occasionally there's going to be a slime that shows up, and I have to fight the slime. And maybe a raid patrol will come in, and I'll ignore it for the entirety of the time that it's standing there, ominously. Or maybe a wandering turtle will show up and I'll kill it because it has nothing worthwhile to trade for. Which, can wandering traders have resin on them? Because if they can, then I can make a resin farm. And that would be nice to have. Because resin it's not the prettiest block, but it's nice. I like it. It looks cool. It's not my cup of tea. That's for damn sure. It's nice though. And it would also be nice to have like at least one of every block. But also I need to come up with a storage system, and I think I might just do the oh, see? I told you. Sometimes these streams can get interesting because there is a slime that just happened to show up. Buddy. Get over here so I can kill you. Ow. No, you don't get to hit me. I only get to hit you. Come on closer. Come on. Come here. How did you get stuck in a hole? Your whole thing is jump. Alright, I can break like 3 more blocks with my pickaxe now. And I know I shouldn't be looking at numbers, because that's, you know, the bane of all happiness. But also, I mean, like, a friend of mine was streaming last night, and I saw, oh, they had 50 followers, and I'm like, oh, well, that's because they talk to people and actually advertise their Twitch. And I'm over here just hoping, hey, let's just let Twitch do its thing, and hopefully the algorithm will just scoop me up in its arms and just lift me into popularity, but that's never gonna happen. I need to actually, like, you know, do the legwork and advertise my live streams every now and again, like in person, in front of people. Or just honestly be doing them more often and just randomly throughout the week. Because I do Saturdays because, like, there's not a lot of other streamers that are on Saturdays. And I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe there's... Well, I mean, there are a lot of streamers on Saturdays, but I'm thinking, like, hey, maybe I can maybe get a couple of viewers at a time. Just because, like, hey, it's a Saturday, I got nothing better to do. I'll open up Twitch and then I'll see who's on. Why did I do that? And maybe I'll get lucky and they'll be like, oh, well, hey, there's this guy, he's streaming. I'm gonna, you know, stick around for a minute, see what's up. I mean, it's also probably because I don't have a lot of, like, the other crap activated, so Twitch is not being nice, because it's like, oh, you don't have our point system on, you don't have redeems, you don't have monetization set up, so we're not gonna really push you because we can't make money off of you. Which, yeah, when a platform's free, you are the product, and in this case, I am the product, and they can't sell me because they can't make any money off of me. So there's probably, that's the reason why also I'm not getting, you know, picked up by the algorithm here. And I just genuinely just want to get to affiliate, just to say that, oh yeah, I'm a Twitch affiliate. Cool, awesome, nice. But also, I just find it would be absolutely hilarious though if I did go to a TwitchCon and just had a shirt made, just to, like, popular internet influencer, and then just, because I have a shirt that says, like, that's a terrible idea, what, in, like, big white text, and then in text it's almost matching the color of the shirt, what time. And I would, like, want to do something like that if I ever go to, like, a convention at this state. Be like, popular influencer, and then in a color that barely matches the shirt is, or that barely is contrasting against the shirt, that you can barely see it's there unless you're, like, really looking for it, is like, I have 13 followers. Because I think that would be funny. That to me is like, oh yeah, that's, you know, kind of silly, funny joke. And maybe that would be like, oh yeah, hey, maybe we can change that number by the time you're gone, and then, you know, people will start following from there, and, you know. Just maybe get some more going. I don't know. I need to look up how algorithms work and all that jazz, and holy crap, there's more slimes than I could have ever anticipated. Granted, I am in a swamp, so I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that there's a crap ton of these little guys. Die! Wait. Anyway. Yeah. But like, I also put these out on like my Instagram and stuff, and I'm pretty sure majority of like the 100 or so followers that I have on Instagram are bots. And if they are real people, they don't really see anything that I post, because I hardly ever use my Instagram account. And another thing is that I, like, on TikTok when that was still big, I posted almost daily, but it was something completely different to what I'm doing now. And those posts, yeah, they get a couple hundred views each, but it was never like, I liked what I was doing there. It was quick, snappy. It was just like, oh well, yeah. But these have to have a long form content like this has to have a little bit more thought put into it, other than like, oh hey, look at this thing that I did. And the people that are following me there wouldn't realistically want to subscribe to something like this, because I did car content on TikTok, and here I'm doing Minecraft content, which is completely the opposite. If I was doing like BeamNG Drive, then yeah, then maybe I'd get some followers over here, or if I did iRacing, which I really want to start doing, but like, getting even into it is, it's not a steep curve, but it's steeper than I would like. And especially seeing as the fact that I'm streaming off of a laptop in a school dormitory, which the Wi-Fi here is barely good enough to even keep this up. So imagine how an online racing service would react to crappy dorm Wi-Fi that could go out at any minute in the middle of a race. So there's reasons as to why I haven't done things like that. Can go a little bit further, because this is an unbreaking pick. I'm just going to go with the impulse route of the second ping. But yeah, if I wanted to, you know, get back into racing content, then maybe I could do like NASCAR 26 when that comes out, or 25 DLC, if that's what they're planning on doing, because iRacing is running that show now. So I don't know if they're going to be doing a yearly release like other racing games or sports related games. I'll go a little bit more. But it's getting to the point of like, hey, if I'm gonna do that, I should upgrade my laptop to a PC. And doing that right now is completely unfeasible. Especially seeing as I waited so late to do it. Because now, like, PC parts are like priced out the they're priced out from what I can afford. And it wouldn't be worth it in my current state to try and purchase a PC, even a pre-built. And then with how infrequently I stream anyway, it's also like, why buy? Because I'm sitting here in a dorm. Again, not a lot of space. I'm only here for so many months out of the year. So I couldn't really actually pick this up to the level that I want to till I graduate. And once I graduate, then I would, personally, this is how I have it planned. I would take at least a year's hiatus, which you think, oh well, that's even worse. Like, you disappear for months on end anyway. That screws up the algorithm anyway. Like, you disappear for 3 months every summer, 2 months every winter, and then you disappear for like 2 weeks in the fall and in the spring. Which also I'm gonna be doing that again, because I don't like to stream on my breaks. But like, for a year, just to, like, save up money, get my debts paid down for my loans and all that for college, get into the swing of things at work, and then have enough money hopefully saved up to get a PC, get all the things that I want to get for it, and then start streaming in the way that I would like. And then as a nurse, because that's what I'm wanting to do, my schedule is going to be weird as hell for at least 6 months. And then after 6 months, then it should hopefully like level out. Let's bring that back up. Hopefully everything should, level out, and then I can be like, okay, cool. I can get into streaming again, and then I can also like start grinding at it, getting to the point where I can be like, okay, setting up an actual schedule every 2 or 3 days out of the week. I can stream for at least an hour and a half. I can do more variety games. I can do more Minecraft. I can do more. I can do a whole bunch. I can do Minecraft. I can do the racing games. I can maybe even get into iRacing a bit more, if I can afford the subscription by that point. If I can afford the wheels, the pedals, the shifters, all that. Which, yeah, it's compatible with like the crappy sets that you can get from Best Buy. But by that point, it's like, whenever you get into a hobby and you intend to continue, and this is what I've heard from a lot of people that are getting into hobbies, you don't get into the hobby with the cheapest things that you can buy. You get into the hobby with whatever is considered middle of the road. And right now, I got into the hobby with the cheapest shit that I could possibly get. I have a $10 microphone, a like $10 mouse and keyboard setup from Logitech. It's the stuff that you can just find at Walmart for dirt cheap. Hell, the microphone came from the dollar store. And I'm surprised at how good it is. And it's lasted me almost 4 years now, or almost 3 years, because I tried to start a podcast with my friends. That podcast might come back, but it might come back in this form where we're playing a game on top of, actually recording a podcast, Or who knows, it might actually just be a friends chatting podcast. But yeah, whatever. For now, like, it's a $10 microphone. I have a 5-year-old laptop because I got this almost a year or two after the pandemic. So it's gonna be 5 years this year. And then a crappy like $40 monitor that I got from Walmart, which honestly it's pretty good for $40. And it does what it needs to. I mainly got the second monitor. I mean, yes, I wanted to start streaming more when I got to college, but the second screen is really good, especially for like Minecraft. I have my Minecraft over there, and I have all my Twitch and all that running on my laptop screen. And when it comes down to it, when I'm doing homework, that's more what it's for anyway. When I'm doing homework, it does its job. Everything's crisp, everything's clear. I can read it fine, regardless of how much it hurts my eyes, because everything is digital, and I am begging for a paper textbook. Even if I don't even look in it, I am just begging to have a paper textbook, just for the sole fact that, in my opinion, those are so much better. Because you have access to those forever. Once I graduate, all the books that I have on Elsevier, which is the system that we're using, they're gone. They're all gone in 2028. So I would much rather have physical books. And I know by the time, 2020, I would have physical books. 2028 rolls around, and I'm like, oh, wait, no, we just released new editions, so your old books are now worthless. That's fine. I can have them on a shelf. I can be like, oh, yeah, that was an experience. Cool. Awesome. Look, this is what I got out of it. A stupid piece of paper and books. Which, it's more than a stupid piece of paper, I know that. But, y'all get the point. It's like, it's memorabilia. It's memories. Bad ones, but memories. Uh, but, no, yeah, it's like, and then on top of that, if, say, my kid in future wants to study what I'm studying, or needs to do like a research project, hey, I have all the resources right here on the bookshelf. Pull them down and like, hey, here's your books. Like, if you need like a primary source or a source from a journal or something, they're here on paper. You can look it up. It's so much easier than having to dig around online for just all these things. And then once you find them, you realize, oh, I have to pay for the whole thing now, even though I need only like 6 pages. Again, textbooks are the exact same. It's just they last a lot longer and they have a lot more staying power. But again, these are all just my opinions. And also, when it comes to exams, like they're like all trying to be like, oh, we have to have these be super secure. They can't ever like leave these buildings. They can't leave these 4 walls and whatnot. So we're gonna have you do them online. And then immediately we get a story from one of our professors who's proctoring the exam saying, hey, yeah, we're gonna have these exams in person on paper. By the way, there was a student that figured out how to cheat with one of these exams by setting up an external server that his computer could connect to while using the secure browser that we have you use for the exam. What is that? What the actual hell is that? That they're saying, oh yeah, we have to do it this way because of security reasons and all that other crap. And then they turn around and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, someone actually figured out how to cheat by doing this. And in my opinion, like the easiest way to prevent cheating is, one, no technology in the room allowed whatsoever other than a wall clock. And even then, we can go even more old school and say, this wall clock has to be one of those that has the hands and everything, an analog wall clock. Stick it up on the wall. That's all that you're allowed to use to tell the time. A pen, a piece of paper, and a number 2 pencil. And then we'll give you your Scantron, and we'll give you the test on paper. And then once you complete the test, you take the test, you take it to the proctor, and then you walk out of the building. That's a lot more secure, because this isn't the generation of students. We aren't Gen X, we're Gen Z. We're not going to be the type to like sneak into our professor's office and start rummaging around through a whole bunch of papers and leaflets trying to find the exams. We're not going to do that. We're not that generation. We aren't that savvy to we aren't that savvy, we aren't that slick to actually, talk our professors into like letting us in to their office before testing hours, and we aren't savvy enough to go in and lockpick. And on top of that, a lot of us are afraid of authority in that we don't want to get expelled because we're burning money being here. So it's a situation of just like, shit. It's easier if we just do it on paper. And then we're also doing other shit on paper. I'm a nursing student. We're already starting up our clinicals. I shouldn't technically be talking about this because I could get in trouble if admin finds out that I'm talking about this. I think. I'm not sure. I'm going to say it anyway. Where you have these things called clinical passports. These clinical passports essentially are just ways that we can track what skills we've learned. And then we get them signed by our faculty, we get them signed by our preceptors whenever we do a certain skill. And then our preceptor or faculty has seen us perform that skill and can say, okay, we feel comfortable allowing you to continue performing this skill in future. We get the passport, we get it signed by them, and then once we're done, we have this whole booklet on paper signed by multiple members of faculty and multiple different preceptors depending on where we're at. We turn that in, and that's half of the battle to get our degree. The other half is actually passing the classes and the exam, which, from what I've been told and what I'm finding out about the final exam, it's a safety exam. It's not even a practical skills, it's not even a skills exam. When you're there, when you're taking your NCLEX, you're basically trying to show that you are safe, that you can do the job accurately and safely. That's all it is. And everyone here is freaking out at like, oh my god, no, it's a practical exam, it's a practical exam, you need to know all this A, B, C, and D. Even our professors are saying, you don't need to know A, B, C, and D. We're teaching you this because, yes, you are going to need to know A, B, C, and D for your job. You aren't going to need to know any of this for the actual exam for your final. Your final is making sure that you can be a nurse safely. You're going to be asked questions of how to safely care for a patient, not how to give a nursing diagnosis, which it's not even a nursing diagnosis. It's like, oh, I think this is what's going on. That's what it is. And I'm just, oh my god. It's so tiring, the fact that a lot of them are freaking us out over really nothing. Because we're all just like, we're worried. And then on top of that, we're a lockstep program. Which I do believe is better than the other programs, where it's a bunch of prerequisite. The way it works is like it's prerequisite, where you take your lower level and then your upper level and then your like mastery level type thing. It's not that way, but it's like you take your 1,000, your 2,000, your 3,000, your 4,000. The way that we do it is lockstep, where you have a group of courses that you take together, and then if you don't pass even one of those courses, you have to retake all of them again. So say you're taking 4 classes right now, and you fail one of them, you have to repeat all 4 classes again. Again, I think that's better, because if you fail one, you fail all, and it's you're kept in the same group. You're kept at level 1 if you fail level 1. Whereas other programs where, oh, you fail a portion of level 1, well, you can just move on to level 2. You just can't take your 2000 level class in whatever that 1000 level skill you failed was. Which just piles on more workload, and it's worse for the advisors. And in bigger universities, I've been told, because I have friends that go to a bigger university than me, that their advisors are nigh on impossible to reach half the time. And it's absolutely hilarious because their advisors are at least the same people each time. My advisors have changed 6 separate times. Or not 6, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. 4 times in 2 years. So yeah. That's my situation with the advisors, and then they're like, oh, well, we can never reach ours. And I was like, yeah, at least you have the same guy. But yeah, the way we do it is lockstep, and you fail one, you fail all. And again, I think that's a bit better, in my opinion. But we're all also scared shitless, and that, like, we know if we fail one, we're delaying our graduation by an entire semester. And if we delay our graduation by an entire semester, then that means more money out of our pockets. So, and then that also risks us losing scholarships, and yeah, I don't want to lose mine because it's covering about half of my tuition. So, yeah. But that's besides the point. Like, we're all freaked out, and then within reason, honestly, I think some of it's worth actually warranted, but a lot of it's also just like our professors are giving us reason to be scared, and scaring us on purpose, it seems, to, try and weed us out, especially level 1. Because I remember when I got back, there was a whole orientation thing, a second orientation. And then on our second day of that, they had like a welcome by the dean. And I overslept because I got dates confused and times and hours and all that. I get there, and then they're doing speeches of, like, the dean does their speech. I missed that. And then they have a student represent each level, like, hey, this is what to expect, yada yada yada. Level 5 was maybe 30 students. If not less, maybe closer to 15 to 20 students. Currently, my cohort, which is all level 1, is about 70 odd students total. So there's 70 of us. That is a high rate of attrition to get down to about 20 something students. Now, could it have been only 20 students because the rest of them just didn't want to show up and it wasn't required for levels 2 and beyond to be at this orientation? Definitely. It could have definitely been that. Could have definitely been that. Damn it, Porky. But yeah, it scared the crap out of us. Because we're there, we're just, naive, wide-eyed students. And we're seeing, like, we see level 5, and we're just like, oh, that's, like, not even half of what we got. And it's always really funny, at least to me, because normally I'm always part of the largest body of students in something. In my elementary school, my class was always the largest. Always. When I graduated high school, my graduating class was the largest that they've had in like 3 years. It was a small high school. We graduated last year. The year before I graduated was like 70 students, and when my class graduated, we graduated 100 students. So you can see where it's like, oh wow, that's a big class. And then the following year, they graduated more, but whatever. That's besides the point. This year, it was 70. I said 70 students were in this cohort for the nursing school. That's the largest cohort that they've had, that this college has had. $70 students. So what winds up happening next is that we're probably still going to be one of the larger cohorts that they have. And by the time we graduate, I bet you this is going to be the largest graduating class of nurses graduating class of RNs. I'm going to rephrase that, RNs, because we are all going to get our nursing licenses. Hopefully. I'm like, yeah, we're all gonna do this. This is gonna be the best year for the program, and then I'm like, probably not, because I'm fairly stupid, and I've seen some of the other guys. We're all kind of, not there totally. I'm going the wrong way. Case in point, this. I can't tell my left from my rights. So yeah, there's always options and things that might happen. But again, who knows? This could be the biggest class that they have graduate for nurses. So, you know, you never know. We could all graduate. We could all crash and burn. And then, just end up homeless on the streets, which that won't happen. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's fine. I'm fine. But yeah. Also, I think our official rotations, because these have all been simulations up to this point, our official rotations will begin next week. And when that happens, I don't know what's going to happen. Because it's going to be just... I know it's probably going to be a cluster. Because it's happening after spring break. All of us are probably going to be... Or a lot of us are going to be hungover because there's like... We just got back from break and now you're having us do work. Unpaid at that. And then that's going to happen. We're going to get there. We're all going to be tired and hungover. I say hungover. We're not going to be hungover because we were drinking the entire week of spring break. I'm saying we're going to be hungover because we just got back from a break. And it's always like that weird slog, 3-day weekend. You come back on Monday and you're just like, ugh. That's... something's off, right? You know that feeling. And in all that, there's always that feeling of just like, do I really want to be back here, or do I want to, call in sick and take another couple of days off? Anyway, that's besides the point. No, it's part of the point. But yeah, that first week back is going to be a cluster, and then everything week after that, it's going to be good. And then, of course, next semester, when we're actually going to be doing more on-site clinicals and less simulations, is going to be just... It's definitely going to be a cluster. Like, every single time we start back up, it's going to be a cluster. Because it's going to be, hey, we are going to be doing this now, and we're just going to kind of throw y'all in blind for, well, not blind, we're going to teach you the basics, and then from there, you know, kind of fend for yourself, because you should know everything now. And then we try to do the thing, and then we're like, oh crap, we need help. They'll help us, obviously. They're going to help us. They're not evil. But it's definitely going to be like a whole mess and a half just to like try and even attempt to get things squared away. So that's going to be fun. Oh, that's a creeper. That's a creeper. Oh, my staircase. You jerk. How are you still alive? And also just clean up crew. But yeah, that, like, it's weird for a lot of things. Especially now. But yeah, it'll be fine. Again, if I just keep telling myself that, it'll eventually be true. And I'm also a very firm believer in sunk cost, which is why I'm still here. Because if it wasn't, I'd have checked out a long time ago. Also, this city's just terrible. Like, I don't see the appeal of San Antonio all that much. It's a Texas city with bad Mexican food, which is something that you can find everywhere that's not an hour away from the border. Which, I find this absolutely hilarious that people here in San Antonio consider this a border town. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It's not a border town. Y'all need to learn some geography. Because Because if it was a border town, we'd have better Mexican food. Instead of just having white guys making the tamales. It's just... Because I found... this was in El Paso, and I know they have it here in San Antonio, because I saw them here in San Antonio also. Well, I saw them here in San Antonio first, and then I found them in El Paso. Canned tamales. Canned freaking tamales. You are not going to get me to eat those. And it's just like... If you're lazy and want to buy tamales, go to a tamalero. They're at least going to be good tamales if you buy them from a tamalero. If you buy them from a can at Walmart, you're gonna get food poisoning. There's no two ways about it. You get bad tamales, you're gonna get the consequences of eating bad tamales. I don't care. That's the breaks. I mean, There's no two ways about it in that case. But yeah, also the stream started a lot later than I wanted it to because I had some things to do in the morning which interfered with, you know, my normal schedule of waking up and doing the laundry, which is normally how I start the day. And then based on when that ends, then I'll go get breakfast and I'll go and start doing the stream and all that. But this time it was interrupted a little bit by some medical things I had to do. So I'm fine. It's nothing major. It's just I needed to get some tests done to rule out certain things. Or it's just routine blood work that I had to do. Yeah, other than that, it was normal. But yeah, to get to the place that I needed to do my blood work at, it was a bit far, so I couldn't do it. And the orders were nothing by no food for at least 24 hours. Which meant, well, obviously I couldn't eat for at least 24 hours. And if you know me in real life, I like food, and people know that. People know I like food. And I have to have my breakfast, or else I'm not going to function. So I went and stopped and got breakfast as well, and there's still like 2 or 3 other like small things that I need to do today, which is just finish this up, check for homework, and then get ready for D&D. Which I'm so glad I picked a War Cleric, because one of the quirks with War Clerics is the ability to essentially just add 10 to any attack roll. So if you think you rolled too low, you can just be like, alright, cool, overkill time. Time to just... Alright, cool. Like, say something's AC is like 14 and you roll like a 13. Alright, cool. My roll is now a 23 because I fucking said so. Granted, I'm pretty sure that's not how the roll works, and I'm gonna forget that I have this. But still, it's just like, it's funny to know that that's an option. I don't know, I find it funny. Yeah, I just need to work on my character sheet a little bit more. And I mean, like, I should also made character art, but I'm also not good at drawing. And like every time I get the motivation to like, oh, I'm gonna draw it, I'm like, I don't want to. Mainly because I'm just like, I feel confident that I could do it. I can at least get the figure of a humanoid done. I cannot draw faces to save my life. Not that I have aphantasia, I'm just bad at it, and it's something that I need to, like, you know, get better at. And obviously practice would help, but I'd rather just say I suck at it and completely avoid the topic. But I don't know. I'm fuck it. I'm gonna have something done in terms of character art by by 7 o'clock. Which is, why did I say 7? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Will I post it? Maybe. Will it be on my Instagram? Also maybe. Should you follow my Instagram? Yes. Should you subscribe to my YouTube if you're watching the VOD and made it this far? Also yes. Because number go up, make person happy. Because that's always been the case. It's the case for Twitch followers, it's the same for YouTube subscribers, Instagram followers, TikTok followers, your bank account number. Anyway. Yeah, anytime these numbers go up, that's always nice to see, and it releases dopamine, which... Yeah, that's the happy brain chemical, because I learned that in school. Anyway, I just gotta clean these up real quick, because they're gonna get annoying. There's a one wide gap all the way around this, so I'd rather get the XP from them than it just get lost to the void. Plus, it keeps my pickaxe ever so slightly healed up, meaning I can just keep going. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah. I should really be hamming up the whole, like, hey, leave comments and stuff, but I don't like that. Not that I find it disingenuous, because all of social media is 90% disingenuity, if that's a word. But it's also just like, it's sad that you're having to beg for engagement to boost the algorithm. So yeah, why don't you comment your thoughts below on that while I keep digging. You see what I mean? It's the most disingenuous thing that I could have done. And then on top of that, it's also a form of groveling, which, no. It's not. Groveling's not cool, man. I don't know, I'm bipolar about that issue, because, like, sometimes, yeah, a funny joke, but also, at the same time, it's like, I find it like a funny bit when other people do it. But when I do it, I immediately get like, oh, that's yucky, that's gross, I don't like doing that. So, I don't know. Again, this is 90% just me trying to get out of my comfort zone. And if begging for interaction is part of that, then so be it, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Then on top of that, I should also probably start, you know, making thumbnails instead of just relying on whatever YouTube throws at me. Which I know it's worked for other people in the past, and I know it's working for certain other YouTubers still now. But it's not been working for me, so I might need to change things up. Because I did make a couple of thumbnails, but that's usually been when I've been collabing with Sky. Mainly because I can make the joke, the sky is falling bottom text in all of these. Or just some crappy joke of like, oh yeah, I can just make it like I can just make some crappy 2012 meme format type thing. Just slap impact font over a funny clip from the video. Which is kind of hard to do when you're doing something this mundane. And then on top of that, titles have been getting really hard to come up with. Because they have to be short enough to fit the character limit and also include the off-camera mining tidbit. Because that's what this is. This is the off-camera mining series. And off-camera mining has to be included somewhere there in the series name. That's just a me thing. It's probably not that important that it be included. But for me, it's something that needs to be there. But I could very well do without, and it'll probably achieve the same effect if I just put it in the same playlist. So, there's small dilemmas that really impact nobody. So it's just issues. It's just things that I need help. I need help coming up with titles, and while ChatGPT and Google Gemini are right there, and I could chuck my video in and just be like, "Hey, can you help me with a title?" I don't want to do that. Because it's very much like, that feels even more disingenuous than just begging for interaction. But I can't solve it. I mean, again, these are all just me things, and I could be overthinking these things by a lot. Which is definitely probably the case, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares, nobody really watches these. But again, my friends are probably gonna watch. How did I miss this gravel? How did I miss this? They usually watch these like after the VODs are up, which is nice. Thank you for at least stroking my ego in that sense. But yeah, it's a whole thing of like, how did I miss this gravel? Like I could damn well use AI for video type. What the hell? Anyway, I could use AI for video titles. I kind of don't want to, at least yet. Once I get to upload 100, then I'll start asking for suggestions as to what my video should be titled. Because I'm horrible at this. I am not a creative. I'm not gonna say I'm not creative, because that's mean to myself. But I'm not creatively inclined like most other people are that do this. I just kind of like... I kind of exist in like a weird zone for this, because like I want to be creative. That's why I'm doing this. But at the same time, I know I'm not creative enough to do this, and I need to work on that. But I also don't really have the time or resources to dedicate to being extremely creatively inclined. Or even just like minorly creatively inclined, because this takes time, this takes a lot of effort, and right now I'm very split between my education and this. And again, while other people have made it work, I'm not other people. I'm me, and I know that I can't be splitting my focus this much. Where am I? There it is. Like, I can split it just enough to do these crappy little streams, and maybe if I'm lucky I can think of a joke for the title. But for the most part, I'm very much in the camp of I can barely get this shit together, so I can't really do much else. Ow, you son of a... Anyway, as I was saying, I need to work on my creativity. Because it is not the best, and just a whole lot of things that I could be doing better in terms of all that. But for now, I just, digging holes and praying that I can catch lightning in a bottle at least once. Which... it's gonna be hard. I managed to get 2 videos over 1,000 views, which... hey, let's go. But at the same time, that was 2 videos in over almost 2 years. And one of those videos was a short, which I don't even count as a full video. Because there's no effort in shorts. It's just kind of like, oh, funny moment. Alright, cool. What can I do with funny moment? Oh, I can post that separately and hopefully attract people to the video. Which, yeah, can work, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't want to have to worry about that, but if I want this to actually, you know, take off even the slightest bit, I have to do that. And I could probably just pay someone on Fiverr to look through my videos and just be like, oh yeah, hey, here's a good clip I can do. And just do it that way, but I also don't have Fiverr money, which is saying a lot. If you don't have Fiverr money, you do not have money, period. Because Fiverr is known for being the place where you can get cheap freelance work for under like 10 bucks. And I'm just being tight with my money. Estoy bien codo, as we say back home. I'm very tight with my money, and I'm very, very rarely, especially in situations like these where I'm broke as is, I'm not going to be just throwing money out to a freelancer and be like saying, hey, could you do this? So, yeah, it's really just a me thing that I need to, you know, get out of my own head. Just be like, okay, fine, just, you know, bite the bullet and do it. Hopefully my bed just fell straight down. That would be stupidly embarrassing if it didn't. That's even more embarrassing that I thought I saw it. But then again, I'm also... Oh, there it is. Hello, bed. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I'm just... Right now, I don't even have Fiverr money, which is, again, saying a lot about how tight my money is right now, or just how I refuse to let it go. And again, I'm going to sound like an old man when I say this. I don't like paying for things online. I'd rather send a check through the mail. Like, that to me is a little bit more secure than ePay. But, whatever. Like, sure, it's whatever. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream in a little bit. I'm going to go back to the main base so I can get more spuds. Or first, I'm going to put all this away. Then I'm going to go back to main base, get some more spuds, and then work on this, hopefully a little bit off camera. You know, like the name of the series. And see what I can do, see if I can figure out the farm, or just, you know, not do this again for the next stream. Maybe get on with Sky and, you know, do stuff and things on Bed Wars, and I don't know. I'll probably ask him on like Monday or Tuesday. It's like, hey, are you free on Saturday so we can do this? And if he says yes, awesome. If he says no, boss. Diggy hole. And we will continue to diggy hole. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep you hostage for a little bit while I get back to main base. Wait. Because I need food. Yeah, as you can tell, my allergies are also kicking my ass right now. They were really bad last week because apparently, for one, the groundhog was wrong. Puxatawny Phil just couldn't, get his shit together. And what was it? Brant the armadillo here in Texas? I forgot his name. Like we have there's an armadillo here in Texas that also does the weather. But yeah, apparently he predicted an early spring, and that's what we got. Because immediately after Groundhog Day, 85, and then it's been consistently mid to high 70s, mid to low 80s for these past 2 weeks, and that's kicked all the trees into high gear, throwing pollen everywhere. And back home, it's also Lent on top of that, and for Lent I gave up sweets and coffee and all that, or caffeine specifically. Uh, and so it's been rough these past couple of days, especially with the fact that look, I should have it easy. I'm going to a Catholic school. They're gonna have fish fries during Lent. They didn't have a fish fry this last Friday. So I was kind of like, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And then on top of that, the little convenience store where I usually get my lunch, all they have there is a Chick-fil-A, and they sometimes have they have sandwiches usually. And those sandwiches usually they have tuna and peanut butter and jelly, which are two things that I can eat during Lent because they do not contain meat. This week all they had was ham and turkey, and I cannot eat those because it is Lent and I cannot have any like red meats or white meats. Fish is fine, and peanut butter and jelly is fine because it's not a sweet, it's a food. So I can eat that. I'm So yeah, but like when I say it's Lent, it's very windy in El Paso right now. Back home, my allergies would be in double overdrive. Probably not because I'm actually used to the dirt and dust and all the wind over there. Here, I'm not alert. I'm not used to the oak trees that we have on campus. So I'm not used to the hazelnuts. I was gonna say hazelnuts. They're chestnuts. We have chestnuts on campus. We have hazelnuts, hazel trees. We have oak trees. We have all these different trees that I'm not used to, and it's kicking like my pollen allergy into high gear, which is the most fun experience. Which everyone with pollen allergies, you know what I'm talking about. And on top of that, I might also have a mold allergy, and because San Antonio is just constantly damp, I could also like be getting that. And it's like right after this season, which is allergies, it's the monsoon here in San Antonio. It's going to be raining, which is just miserable, especially for someone who's from a sunny area. Because it's like I don't know, there's correlation. I don't know if it's causation, but there is definitely correlation between uh, like sun exposure and depression levels, and that's why people get seasonal depression. And the shrink here on campus has noticed that I do have some symptoms of seasonal depression, especially when it's like really cloudy. And quite literally, the remedy for that is to just be in the sun or get a sun lamp. So it's fairly easy for me to manage because I can just decide on a sunny day just to spend my day outside or at least open the window and be taking in the sun, asoleándome. But yeah, it's annoying just having to deal with that. And then on top of that, again, it's going to be a monsoon here, meaning there's going to be a lot of rain, which is always super pleasant to deal with, especially if you have glasses. And it's just, can you hear the sarcasm in my voice? It's amazing living out here. I think I'm going to tear that down at some point. Probably, if not this next stream, the stream after. Oh, these are all dead. Meaning I have to craft up a whole bunch of shears now. Yeah, those are upcoming streams. May as well go AFK for a little bit while I go ahead and render this out and remember to upload it this time. So, with all that being said, be safe, have a good day, and I will stream next week, hopefully. Goodbye.